Let's walk through how we're going to kind of import some of these textures into our render engines. Now we're going to cover how to do it in Cinema 4D Physical, Redshift, and Octane, and then there's also a Blender section as well if you would like to learn how to use it there. Now that being said, these are not deep dives into each render engine or their material settings. It's just showing you how to import your textures from Substance. We'll be using our PBR metallic roughness workflow because that's kind of the most common workflow you're going to run through on the internet. However, there are presets for certain render engines that you may want to explore or use that you may find are simpler or easier for you to kind of plug into your render engine. Now, none of these are deep dives on these render engines because each one could really be a course on its own, but we do try and kind of show you the optimized workflow. I don't pretend to be an expert on all of these render engines. I personally use Cycles myself, but what I've done is I've met with several experts in the industry, including people that work at some of the companies for these render engines, taken notes on their suggestions and their workflows, and then I've reviewed the documentation, cross-compared it, and came up with what I believe is a pretty optimized way to import your textures. That being said, if you feel you have a better way, feel free to share it in the Discord with the rest of the community. Likewise, we're not going to be going through all the settings of the render engine. We're just going through how to import the materials. Now, if you're very new to these render engines, you can open our project files and see the settings that we used to render our scenes. That being said, they're not necessarily either completely optimized or the best settings. We tried to kind of find a balance in between the middle since we knew that not everybody would have an amazing machine that could handle all the best settings, but at the same time, we didn't want to give you scenes that didn't really look all that great. So that being said, choose your render engine of choice and let's walk through how we can import our textures and apply them to our objects.